Well, hello, and thanks for joining me today. I'm Jody Bruns with the Divorce Lending Association, and I would like to welcome both T.H. Irwin and Jessica Kleinbaum, founders of Ex-Experts, Divorce, etc. They are two best friends who got divorced at the exact same time. And although they had completely different experiences, they were lucky enough to have each other through it all. And their company that they have founded, Ex-Experts, it provides reliable, no nonsense professional resources to help you through your divorce. And I am super excited to have you both here today. I know you're going to tell everybody more about Ex-Experts. But one of the things that I wanted to start with was, TH, when you and I originally spoke, I think it was about a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I loved hearing the story of how you and Jessica, quote unquote, got each other in your divorces. And it was such a great story. And I think I even told you how, Paul and I happily married, but we have these two really good friends. And my kids always said, you get Brian and Diana in the divorce.
Right.
But it was such a great story. And I was hoping that we could start by, if you're willing to,
Sure.
share that with our listeners, because it's so just awesome. It's fun. It's, just kind of empowering, to have somebody like you guys have each other to go through things. So share your story with what you told.
Well, actually, Jessica's really better at sharing it. So if you thought I did a good job with you, this is like Jessica's favorite thing because she gets to call me a bitch during the story. So I'm gonna have Jessica start it. Right. Okay, fine.
Perfect.
The way that Teach and I met were because my first husband, I've actually been married and divorced twice. So I'm a true ex-expert. The way that we met was because my first husband and TH were best friends in high school. So he and I met as soon as I got to college. So I was hearing over the first couple of months all about his best friend TH, his best friend TH, his best friend TH. So she comes up to our college for a Halloween party, my freshman year, and I'm like totally excited to finally meet her. I've heard so much about her. Little did I know she had not heard anything about me. Anyway, she walks into the party and I go like running up to her and I'm like, oh my God, you're TH. And she literally looks at me and she goes, where's Darren? So I go over to him and I'm like, that's your best friend? She's a bitch.
So the truth is, I don't remember the story, but now I feel like I remember it because we say it so many times. But I could totally picture myself like Jessica's like as this big and she has super high energy. She'd be like right in your face like this. And we're in college and pre-gaming and it's Halloween and I was probably like a little tipsy and I was like, whoa. And I did not know who she was.
That's funny.
Fast forward a couple of years, we have all graduated. We're all living in New York City, and TH was with her soon-to-be husband, and we all were just hanging out all the time. TH and I developed our own best friendship. Our husbands, our soon-to-be husbands, developed their own best friendship. We got engaged within a month of each other, married within a month of each other, doing all the things as couples for years and years.
And like from the outside, like the country club, the kids, the apartment, they were in the city and we in the house, traveling, all the pictures, everything on the outside looked like fabulous, but it wasn't so much. So 13 years into our marriages, within 1 week of each other, we both found out that both of our husbands were cheating on us and covering for each other.
Oh,
like trips that they were going on, telling us that they were guys' trips. Like, oh, we're going to go on a guys' motorcycle trip to Costa Rica. And I was like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. They like took their girlfriends to the Four Seasons in Costa Rica as couples while we were home working, taking care of our respective kids.
Oh my God.
That's how we like started the divorce process at the exact same time.
Right.
We had totally different divorces, but from day one, we were like, we have each other in the divorce for sure. And we would talk about how that was like one of our greatest gifts, that we got each other and had each other to go through it all, because we were like the first ones of anybody getting divorced. We weren't at that age yet where like was like starting to trend.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
were, and both of our parents are still together today. So we didn't have a lot of exposure to it. We didn't know what to expect. It's dark and overwhelming and scary. And we were young, and my kids were 2 and 4, and all 3 of THs were under the age of 8. Like it was not,
It was a lot.
it was a lot. And I don't know how we would have done it if we didn't have each other.
So it was a real gift. We definitely got each other. So I can thank Darren for Jessica, and my ex can thank me for Darren.
Well, they're not even friends anymore.
But anyway, so we, you know, as we start navigating all this and uncovering all the stuff, we're realizing, God, you know, we're so lucky because we have our kids the same weekends, and our kids were always actually, there was always structure for them because they were always together, our kids. They were
on the
either
weekends
with their dads or with us. So
Right.
That's
they
good.
were also had each other, and, you know, whether they realize it today or not, I don't know if it matters, but, you know, the processes were very different. I had a 4-year divorce leading towards litigation, settled on the day of trial. Jessica and Darren, I like to say, got divorced over a box of Kleenex in a hot minute. And that's all just relative to me. But I was thrilled to be out of my marriage. I was in a very toxic, horrible relationship, and I had tremendous guilt about leaving because what about my kids?
Yeah.
And then when I found out, I was like, I'm good. I'm out. I'm free. And Jessica struggled a lot with the emotions and her identity, and it was always Darren and Jessica. So, but it just goes to show that it doesn't have to be the same for you to support one another.
and that even though it looked the same on the outside,
So different.
we had totally different divorce experiences.
Yeah. And we didn't even realize, you see how we finish each other. You know, what's similar is that we weren't willing or able to recognize what was going on in our marriages. We were as close as you could be.
We weren't even talking.
We
about
weren't acknowledging it for ourselves. So we
Right.
couldn't voice it to each other. And then when it all came out, like it was quick for Jessica to make a decision. It was quick for me to make a decision because we knew in our gut something
Yeah.
wasn't okay. We had been denying and making excuses for and lying to ourselves and to people that we loved to just not deal with the truth of you know, the status of our marriages. So at that time, we decided, you know what? We need to build something because there's nothing out here at the time.
You know, and it's really sad because so many women, you know, men too, I'm sure, but so many women, when they go through a divorce, they go through it alone.
Yes.
You know, and
That's right.
most
Most.
of them these days, you know, they're on their phones at night or in the morning looking for information, you know, and trying to just make sense of it, you know.
Right.
And they may have, you know, friends and family they can talk to, but they don't because it's such a personal, hurtful, you know, situation. I know that, you know, for
Yeah.
going
Well,
through a divorce.
We've said also, like, a lot of times it's actually easier to talk to strangers than it is to talk
Yeah.
to people in your inner circle, because your inner circle, people have preconceived notions of who you
Right.
are, who your spouse is, what they think is best for you, what they think is best for, you know, steps for you to move forward. So there's that. Sometimes just the anonymity of being able to talk to someone that, you know, doesn't know too much is really helpful. But also, like, just the idea of not having to go through it alone, being able to have support and resources is like, we would call each other and be like, my lawyer told me this today. Like, did you know this? Like, this is something that you have to prepare for. We were in different states. Technically, I live in New York City. CH lives in New Jersey. So it was pretty much the same. But like, the other thing is, so many people that get divorced, understandably, come out of it with a lot of negative emotions and a lot of toxicity and a lot of resentment and a lot of anger. And that's the feedback I think that a lot of people get when they say that they're getting divorced. Then they're talking to someone who's offering them advice, but coming from a very negative place. And that's not the kind of advice you want to listen to. It's not all going to be rainbows and daisies from day one, But we think it's really important for people to know that where you are at that moment is not where you need to be
Yep.
for a long time,
Right.
and definitely not where you want to stay. There are too many people who are stuck in the bitterness of their own divorces, and they think that they're doing you a favor by giving you all the advice about the things that they did or that they should have done, and here's what you need to do. And it's like, that's not what people
Yeah.
really need.
What actually worked best for us, because we have very different personalities, but it all meshes so well. It's just being a good listener.
Yeah.
We literally would just listen to each other. I think also because we really needed to hear what the other was saying.
Right.
And so like stuff you're like, you won't believe what my son just said, or how do I handle this with their dad, or how, like all of the things. And so we built Ex-Experts and the Divorce Etc. podcast, because like you said, not everybody has a bestie who's lock in step dealing. And then what about after divorce? That's where
Yeah,
the real
that's
work
important.
starts. Dating? Who am I going to date? How do I flirt? How do I make money? I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't know how to use Excel. What's Excel? How do I co-parent with somebody I'm divorcing? Like it could be a complete shitstorm.
Right.
But we are living proof that your life is going to be freaking awesome.
So
And how to
tell
get
us now about Ex-Experts, how you guys, got to the point where you put this together and explain to everybody the resources they can find and, kind of where you're going, because we always talk, from the Divorce Lending Association point of view that, every divorcing spouse, whether they're a homeowner or not, goes on their unique journey. They go through the same quote unquote divorce process from petition to negotiation to settlement to decree, and then afterwards. But those in between things for every single person is unique. It could be like Jessica, where you settle it one-on-one, or it's, starts out quote unquote amicable. And then
turns.
it goes sideways.
Yeah.
So you can't, and that goes back to what you guys were just saying, people chiming in their opinions, their advice, their own experiences. It's not the same as anybody. No two emotions are the same, anything, so I love that you guys have kind of joined forces and created this very fun, if you will, but very informative, solution and resource for anybody, going through divorce. And I love it. I always say that, conflict arises out of divorce. Conflict always arises, mostly because of a lack of knowledge,
Right.
and
Right.
if they just educate themselves, both parties, not just one, they both have to understand what the expectations are, how to co-parent, how to work together. So each person is, has a nice house over their, heads. But if they can figure it out, if they can be more educated, they will both be basically in a stronger position to negotiate. And then they can remove conflict and any type of like unrealistic expectations. But it takes to having that, there's a lot of, sites out there, et cetera, but I love your guys's because it's so well-rounded that they can go and they can find, information and resources from other professionals as well, right?
Right.
Yes.
The first thing, and thank you for all that. The first thing is really like, you have to take a minute. And it all starts with you. It all starts with you. You have choices now. You had choices before, but maybe you felt uncomfortable voicing them or acting on them. But when you know that you are starting something new, you have a choice. And so what are you going to do with that? What are you going to choose for yourself? Your kids are only going to be as good as you are. If you're a mess, your kids are going to be a mess. Like we talk about, like, how do we know our kids aren't going to get screwed up? You know why? Because we're good. And if they're screwed up, it's not because of us.
Right.
We've been transparent. We have open communication. They trust us. We are here unconditionally. We can't give them all the answers they want. We can't do all the things they hope for.
But we're also not modeling unhealthy, toxic marriages as an example. for them.
100%. We've made a choice.
Right.
But look, when you get a divorce, you could get into another toxic relationship. You can
Yep.
get into just an ill-fitting relationship.
But to your point of them being okay, like we're modeling that you have a choice. that
You
don't
have
have
a
to stay
That's
in an
right.
unhappy situation, that
You
you
have-
deserve more.
And it starts with education. We actually made it like a little list here. And the number one thing is education.
100%.
It's free. It's up to you. And you are capable. So the message is you're not alone and you can do whatever the hell you want to do.
And the more you know, the less fearful you're going to be.
100%.
The fear surrounding divorce in large
Colossal.
part is because you don't know and you don't
Yep.
have the
Fear of the
answers.
unknown.
Right,
Yep.
right. And so if you know what your situation is financially, hey, it may not be that great. That's what you might find out. But at least you know the answer and you can
That's right.
start putting together a plan based on the information you have. So
Right.
yeah, education is crucial in every area.
And it gives you a position of power.
Yeah.
I know better. I'm going to walk in now to this settlement agreement, or I'm going to walk into an interview for a new job, or I'm going to walk into a, graduation with my ex. And you have tools, you have knowledge, you have thought about how this is going to go down. A meeting with my lawyer, remember, they work for you. You don't work
Mhm.
for them. Remember, they're not a therapist. They're here for the divorce process. You're going to graduation. Remember, this is about your kid. Go
Yeah.
back home, yell and scream, do whatever you got to do. You got to keep your shit together when you're about your kid. So all those things, you're now in a power position. You're not a victim. Don't be a victim, be a creator. That's what one of our ex-experts always says. So what we have done is built this platform and business called Ex-Experts. What is it? We are an aggregator of the best education and information to help you if you're thinking about divorce, you're going through the process, or you're ready to move on. Even if you're not ready to move on, you've been
We'll
told
help you move on.
it's time to move on, your divorce is over. Okay. So you've been pushed out into the world. So we are here to help you in all of those places. How have we done this? We have over 150 ex-experts similar to Jody, who share their knowledge to then empower you to be in a place of knowledge, to make your best choices for yourself, for your family. It still comes down to being personal. Like Jody was saying, each situation is different. We can't say you're going to this lawyer, that this is the perfect lawyer for you. What we will say is, if you're going to a lawyer and you're consulting lawyers, you should go to more than one. These are the questions you need to think about, plus add all of your own questions, because I don't know what you don't know. Then these are what you should talk about during your meeting. And then afterwards, this is how you evaluate your lawyers. And then you go with who resonates best for your needs. We are empowering you with the tools that you would never know you needed, but we know,
right?
because
You
we've been there.
You have your friend who's like, I just got divorced and I thought my lawyer was great. That's the lawyer you should use.
I
If-
did that.
if-
That was interesting.
But also, if we lived in the same state,
We may have
it's
used the same
possible
lawyer.
that we may have used the same lawyer.
No, you would never have hired my lawyer.
But even today, TH says that she shouldn't have hired her lawyer.
I
Like,
shouldn't
the
have.
point being that you have to have the knowledge to know even how to approach something like the first consults that you have with lawyers, because preparation is key. And that's what's going to help you come out at the end feeling like you won. We just actually did a 2-day summit all about winning your
Jody was a
divorce.
part of.
That's right. Well, your listeners may not have known.
Yeah.
But in that summit, right, the whole point was not win your divorce, meaning take your ex for everything they're worth. Win your divorce, meaning know what you want out of it and what you want it to look like on the other side, and then have all the information and the resources that you need so that that's the outcome you get. That's winning.
And winning, we get into all that. So shameless plug, if you haven't signed up for Ex-Experts in your inbox,
Yes.
sign up
doing
for
that
it, 'cause
now.
we just did 2 weeks about what's a win.
Right.
Like, what does it mean to win in life and to win in divorce and to win? You know, when I was 5, I wanted to win the game. When I was in high school, I wanted to win the cutest guy. And now my win is neither of those things.
Yeah.
Even though I do have the cutest guy. So education is paramount. You will find all of this on Ex-Experts. We have created the website experience for you so that you can process the information in a way that works and super simple. Everything about divorce, everything about the money, your family, your stuff, and yourself. So you can play around. It's in written form. It's in transcript form. We have audio podcasts, and now we've launched our YouTube channel.
Nice.
We are airing almost all of our video assets from divorce,
podcasts.
etc. And we also have a lot of new content out there. That's the two of us like talking about the real stuff of where we are today, and also, you know, stuff that we look back on that maybe we didn't have a featured expert focusing on. So
it's the, like, you know,
it's like
when
the
you get
girlfriend
pregnant,
hour.
right? But it's like the girlfriend's guide to divorce. I mean, it's like when you get pregnant, right? And everybody's running to like what to expect when you're expected, and you want to know how to do it at every phase and what's going on and how big your baby is and just all of the things that you're going to be experiencing. It was sort of somewhat of the model of kind of what we were trying to achieve with Ex-Experts, with the website, with the Divorce, etc. podcast, with everything on our platform. Like, you can find whatever you need at whatever stage you are for free. And that was our mission. And that was our way to pay it forward, so that we know that people don't have what we have going through divorce, but how can we help you?
Yeah.
So that you do feel like you have that.
Yeah.
I just think that is so good, you know, because it's all about knowledge. You know, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, just how to handle themselves, you know, personally, not letting, you know, your job or your divorce interfere with your job performance, you know, not letting it trickle down to the kids, not talking through your kids to the other spouse.
Yep. All those
You know,
things.
But mistakes will be made.
Mhm.
And the truth is, we're all human.
Yeah.
And so don't beat yourself up, especially when you're first trying it. It's like getting your new sea legs on. Like, you're going to stumble, you're going to fall, own it, take responsibility. I definitely screwed up with my kids a few times, and I was like, you know what? You're 100% right. I messed up. I won't do it again, but I didn't realize the impact it would have on you. Always have open communication with your kids. Show them that you're vulnerable, because they're vulnerable. They have a lot of feelings that we don't even understand.
Yeah.
Kid experts too, who also chime in and tell us what it feels like to be the kid of divorce.
That's right.
But these are the kinds of people. And you know what? Once you have that sealed, we really are your best cheering squad. Like, when your paid professionals have disappeared, we are your people. How do I handle my first weekend alone? I don't know how to do this. It's the first holiday. It's Father's Day and I have nowhere to go. It's Mother's Day, or friends. Like, my friends are disappearing. How do I make new friends? How do I find a job? How do I self-discover? Like, how do I even know what I want?
Yeah.
You know, Jessica's always like, it was Darren and Jessica. Who the hell's Jessica without Darren?
Right.
Like, really figuring out what you're comfortable with. And you might say, I'm going on a far right-hand turn. Go try it. The worst that can happen is it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
But you'll learn from it. And that's what helps us grow. Mistakes, challenges, being uncomfortable will leap you forward if you learn from it and you keep your eyes open. So we are your girlfriends through divorce and beyond. We have lived it all. We really talk about our primary mission is really to empower people through education and community.
I think that's awesome.
That is why we have built this. This is what we're doing. You can DM us, you could whatever. We're here because I just called Jessica. Like, I didn't have to think about it, but we know that you do have to think about it. You have to be careful. So
how can tell everybody how to find Ex-Experts?
We have our website and it's all spelled out. It's EXEXPERTS.com. The website is like the hub. I mean, you'll find everything that we do and everything that we offer on the website. However, if you're a real podcast listener, and shameless plug, we just hit this week over 105,000 downloads of our podcast.
Very nice.
So we know that
Top
it's resonating.
20%, top 20%.
That's right. But the podcast is called Divorce, Etc. It's on every podcast platform. So there's that. And then of course we have like our social media accounts, Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and everything. Everything is just at Ex-Experts.
Jessica dances
We've
on
made
TikTok.
it,
You're not
not
going
in
to
a
miss
long time, not in a long time.
it. It was a top hitter.
It was a viral video. It was. But it's, you know, we're everywhere online that someone would want to find us. So if you prefer to read things, you might be more comfortable, you know, reading what's on our website or reading the newsletter. If you like to listen to things, then the podcast is there for you. And then as Teach mentioned, like we just launched the YouTube channel, which is if you want to watch the podcast and watch our interviews and watch our conversations. I feel like, was it like a MasterCard ad? We're everywhere you want to be.
We're everywhere you want to be. and we have actually featured one of Jody's amazing CDLPs, Emily Flowers.
Right.
We adore her and we love what you have built for Divorce Lending Association. You also built this out of a need, like yay for us women who are making things happen and building what wasn't built before. So you can always hear Emily's interview about what a CDLP, certified divorce lending professional, can do to help you through your divorce. And by the way, they're free until you actually use their services. So it's a great education.
It's a good resource.
If you own a home, if you want to own a home, I mean, I'm doing your ad for you, but
Thank you.
You can find her on Divorce, Etc.
Yeah. You know, the thing, just kind of to caveat that, is there is such a lack of knowledge, going back to the education piece, of how divorce impacts your ability to obtain mortgage financing.
Women don't know that. I hate to stereotype.
No, the words
it's-
mortgage financing are already like overwhelming and scary.
People are like, we've had so many conversations where, and the people will be like, you know, well, I'm going to stay in the house. Like, do you even know what that means? Do you know that it means you're going to have to pay your ex out for half of the house? Do you know it means you need to have some kind of an active income coming in order to qualify to have your monthly
And a credit
payments made?
score,
Like,
and yeah.
People are just like, well, I'm stay in the house, or I'm just going to get the new, like, they can't buy a car. They can't get a credit card.
It throws a wrench in it. And so many people think, well, you know what, we've done it before. There's no big deal. And it's sadly, a lot of the divorce professionals, they don't know either that the language they use in the settlement agreements can completely derail either spouse. You know, so I am really proud of what we've done at the Divorce Lending Association and with our certified divorce lending professional program, because it is about education.
That's right.
And it's not just a mortgage loan officer who can do a loan. They know divorce, you know, where traditional.
And you can help the
lenders
lawyers to
don't.
draft the verbiage. I mean, that's really like such an important thing that people don't realize, that they don't know about. They think like their lawyer's word is gospel. Well, it may be for certain aspects of it, but a lot of the financial stuff, it's not, and you need outside help.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, and the support of what we do. And I really, again, really just respect what you guys have built. I think it's awesome. And I can't wait to see it continue to grow and for us to collaborate even more together.
Yeah,
because, you know, we're kind of on that same parallel path, you know, of education and empowering, you know, divorcing spouses, you know, just to get through that journey to where they are in a position to start healing, you know, and moving forward. So
it takes a village, and we are building and putting this village together at Ex-Experts with Jody and so many, like, we've done your homework. Like, come and look at our
everyone already.
Cheat off our homework notes. We've done it for you. And we're super excited about the community that we have built, not just of professionals, but we're real life experts, all three of us here. And we have a lot of lessons to share with you that'll save you a lot of heartache.
Awesome. Well, Jessica and TH, thank you so much again for being part of our podcast, Divorce Literacy. And I look forward to speaking to you guys again real soon.
Thank you so much, Jody. We really appreciate it.